Welcome to day 13 of DEPHEMEREMBER. I cannot believe we are at the halfway point. I thought I'd film this intro on my balcony again since it is absolutely gorgeously sunny, even though it's a bit in my eye, but I'm so happy with the sun. So I thought I would do another one out here on my balcony. So this is bag number 13. Beautiful butterfly. Let's see what's inside. So our animal for today is a seahorse. And our snack is from Mexico today. So they're called Now and Later. 6 long-lasting pieces, pineapple flavor. They're artificially flavored, so I guess these are like chewy candy. Let's see. Love pineapple. They are this light yellow color. Chewy, sour. I like these. They remind me a bit of similar candy we have here in Austria called Mawam. Mawam is a little bit harder at the beginning. I love how sour it is. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Okay, let's head on back inside to do some crafting. So we are back inside and our prompt for today is acetate and a banner. I think this is going to be real interesting. Something, again, I would never come up with on my own to try in my journal. So another chance to experiment and to learn something new. I thought about this prompt before going to bed, and then during the night I had all these ideas. I actually really don't like doing that. But on the flip side, I actually had some ideas that I will try today. So that's quite exciting. And for the idea that I have, I need to have a few seahorses. So I'm going to print off a few more of these, and then I'm going to fussy cut them, and then we'll take it from there. And please don't pay attention to this being flipped. Yeah, I know you can't read this. That was because I had this on another page where I had reversed the image. So as you can see, I have cut these out 6 times. I have to admit that took a while. And I also dissected them. I cut off their tails. Poor creatures. Don't report me to animal cruelty. But my idea is to make some flowers with these. It's a bit strange, which is why I love it. So let's start off with these tails. So let's move these aside. Oh, I've also inked them up with walnut stain. And I did not cut this tiny part here in the middle. I probably could with a craft knife, but that's where I drew the line. I'm hoping that if I arrange these in a circle, that will turn into a cool flower. I don't want it to be so delicate, like I want it to be a proper flower. So I want to add something underneath. And one thing I have here on my desk are these petals. I bought these at a home decor store for anyone in the German-speaking world, Depot. So these are very waxy. It doesn't really matter. I had these in my living room, but they were kind of, I don't know, they were like toppling over. They looked like they were wilting because these stems are quite thin. So I decided instead of throwing them away, let's use them in our junk journals. So I chose 4 that are all more or less a similar size. And I believe that the white will be a nice contrast underneath these tails. So let's arrange these in a circle like that, and then let's try to, how do we do this? Let's try tweezers. Yeah, I think that provides a really nice contrast. I like how this looks, but I think we can make it even more interesting. And that is where the acetate will come into play, because I want to experiment with that. So I have one of these bags that you get, you know, when you order flat craft supplies. I think they're also called cello bags. And I want to see if I can use this in my die cut machine. I've never tried it, so I'm super excited to do that. I have these flowers And I think the biggest one, yeah, it should be the biggest one, would be the best option. So let's run this through my die cut machine and see if it will work. So I ran it back and forth 4 times because I wanted to have the best possibility that this actually works. Oh, I think it worked. How cool is this? And it went through both layers. Oh, wow. So I should have 2. Yep. I know they're hard to see, but I have 2 of these flowers now. Oh, that's so fun. Did you ever try that? Did you know that your die cuts can cut acetate? So let's make them look a little bit more interesting by stamping on them. Again, I don't know if that's going to work. Never tried it. So let's find some nice stamps. Script would be cool. We could maybe try that on one. Actually, never used this stamp. This is part of the entomology set by Tim Holtz. I will link that for you below. So let's use that. And maybe for the other one, we could try some of these stamps from the Tim Holtz ticket booth set. Maybe this one and this one. So let's try the scripty stamp first. Oh, I'm always so excited to try new things because whether it works or not, we have learned something. So let's just stamp that. It worked. It worked. Oh, it looks so cool. So I need to let this dry because I'm sure if I touch it now, it would smear and I cannot use my heat gun because it would melt the acetate. So let's try the ticket booth stamps. Let's try 2 different ones. This one on one half. Looking great. And then we'll use this one on the other half. Oh, that looks so fun. I'm super happy with both of these. I think to make my life easier, I'm going to glue these petals together. Otherwise, they will keep moving. So next, let's add one of these, maybe the script one. Looks a little bit more delicate. Wow. I think that looks pretty cool. I'm going to glue that right down because I think this is perfect. And then I think I'm also going to just glue down the tails. The last one, it's always a bit nerve-wracking when you're trying something new, especially when you're doing it on camera. So many things can happen. I still think it needs something else. I would have loved to add a button here, but I think it's going to get so bulky. So instead I'm going to again add one of my hydrangea petals. I think it has a really nice size. And I will also add some thread underneath. So I'll definitely use black because that's a great contrast. But I also recently found this gorgeous golden thread. So maybe I'll just mix them up. So let's glue that down. And let's add the hydrangea on top. What a cute flower. And yes, it's going to get gold splatters, but we'll wait with that. Then we also still have the upper bodies of these seahorses. And why not also try making a flower with them? That would obviously be a bigger flower. That also looks super cool. Oh, I love it. This is amazing. Okay, and we need some more contrast. I don't want to add the petals. I don't think they would be big enough anyway for them. So let's see if I can maybe find another die cut that I could maybe add in between here to make it look more like a flower. So I found this one here, which has this cute feather. This is a set from Action. So it was these here were in one set. I don't think you can get them anymore. I got them, I think, sometime last year. This is what the packaging looked like. But there's many different options of what you could try if you wanted to do something similar. So I'm going to use this and maybe some black construction paper. So we'll have one white one and one black one. And that should be a really nice contrast. And hopefully, I mean, they might be too big. Well, let's see. So here are 6 feathers. I think they're so cute. Of course, Tim Holtz also has feathers, I think in various sizes. It's a fairly new die set, I believe, so you could search for those if you really wanted a feather die cut. So let's see if these will actually work. They do seem a bit big. I do love the contrast though. So maybe what we need to do is use one less, and we'll use one less flower. And maybe that will give us more space to work with. And everything is moving. This definitely requires patience. Something like that I think would look very cool. A black one and a white one. Yep, love it. Can we also add the acetate flower there? We won't really see it. I'm not sure it's worth it. I wish I could stamp with white embossing powder, but I can't heat it up. So I guess you can't emboss acetate. What a pity. I don't have a white stamping ink, but we could try maybe another color. I don't have anything else that's permanent in a color. We could try stamping it with this honey color by Eyes Ink. I don't think this is permanent. It doesn't say. It only says acid free and quick drying ink. So I'm guessing if it doesn't say it, probably isn't permanent, but I want to try this anyway. So I cut another one of these acetate flowers. Let's just try our luck. I'll again try the ticket stamps. No, that doesn't really work. No, that's not ideal. So let me take this off. Okay, that's a fail. That's okay. We learned something new. I have another idea. Unfortunately, I can also only do this in black, so it's not really going to help because we already have one with black stamping on it. But I'm just curious to see if this will work. So I have my acetate flower here. I have a mandala stencil, so I will place that in the center of the flower. And then I'm going to use this permanent spray by Edding. I only have this in black, and I'm hoping that this will dry and not come off. Oh my goodness, this looks amazing. How cool does this look? Wow. Okay, I need to let this dry and then we'll see if it actually is permanent. That would be amazing. By the way, I wanted to show you, I am securing this with some clamps. These are just clothespins actually, just to make sure that this sticks really well. And it's now maybe 15-20 minutes later and it has dried and it does not come off. How amazing is this? Like, I'm in love. I wish I had more colors. I wish I had white. That's what we would need right now. That would make such a cool contrast. But maybe what we could do instead is to switch the black feathers for white ones. Although I'm so loving the black here. Let's just give it a try. Maybe we will be surprised and the white will look even better. So I've cut these out in white cardstock. They're also really cute in white. So we have the feathers, we have our acetate flower. Oh, it is covering a lot of the feathers. Well, we'll see. It looks cool. I'm going to use this. So I'll glue these together and then I'll be back. I think the best way to glue these together would be to glue them onto like a circle. So I'll use my 1.5 inch circle punch and just punch out this copy paper. And then I can glue the middle of the feathers here. Then I'm going to cut some of these stems off because I think they're making it unnecessarily bulky. By adding the circle underneath, I was also able to spread them out a little more. So I hope that we'll see more of them than we did when I tried it out. So let's add some more glue to the middle. Oh, always good to take the cap off. So we have this. I think it looks super cool. And of course I want to add something in the middle here because this is not so pretty. So I have this die cut, which is from the same set as the larger one that I used for the acetate. And I just found this foil, which is my chocolate foil, on my desk. So I think this gold would be really nice in the middle here. So I flattened the foil out by using my little vintage iron. And what I like about this method, rather than flattening it with your fingernail, for example, I'll see the difference. So when I flatten it, for example, with my fingernail, it gets quite smooth. But when I just flatten it with my iron or anything else that's flat, I get it flat, but it's still crinkly. So I really like that. So I've also never used foil, I think, that I can remember on my die cut machine. So I'm going to try this as well. I'm assuming it will work because it's super thin, and I'll be back when I've done that. So here's our little gold foil flower. It worked absolutely brilliantly. And I think it looks fabulous here. And let's see what white thread would look like underneath instead of the black thread. I'm also thinking maybe I want to add something even on top of that. I like the white thread. So I'll go ahead and glue those down, and then I'll think about whether I want to add something else on top, but it needs to be fairly flat. Let me check what my little bling dish has to offer. I have these golden flowers. It is totally a different gold than the chocolate wrapping, but it's actually surprisingly not bad at all. That is definitely a great option. Let's keep that one in mind. I don't think I want anything sparkly, but maybe we could try adding little beads. That's definitely more bulk. I'm going to go with this option, even though I also really like this one. And this one would definitely be a lot easier to put on here. But I think I like the extra color there. In the meantime, I'm going to add some gold splatters to the first flower. And I think that also needs some black splatters. Ooh. That was a big one in the middle. That was certainly not intended, but we're going to have to go with it now. So both of these need to dry before we can continue. So it's about 1.5 hours later. Both of these have dried. I really love this one so much. And then this one, I don't think I love this as much because there's not as much contrast. So I think this is going to need white splatters, but not right now because I don't want to wait again. It's because I can't use my heat gun. It's so frustrating. I have a page picked out here already because there's not many pages here that I can use with what I have in mind. So it's this one here with the cute bumblebees. I needed a page where the front and the back don't have any kind of ephemera or embellishment on it. So this was the perfect page. And this is where I want to add the banner part. So I looked online what kind of different banner shapes exist. And I came across this Pinterest page, which has like custom flag shapes out of which you could make a banner, for example. So I'll show you that here so you see the different shapes. And so I thought I would try a horizontal pennant, so the one that's on the top left. And all I need to do to make that is to fold this page into a triangle like that. Let's iron it down. This iron is turning out to be really fun. In case you don't know, I got this at a vintage thrift store. It was a really lucky find, and it's actually made in Austria. It's really cute. So I have this, which looks super weird. But this side looks actually really cool. It's just a really nice triangle. So my idea was to put one of these two, that would definitely have to be this one, here on the tip of the page. Oh, I love that. But of course this is very plain, so I want to add some stenciling here before I glue this on. And I went through my stencils and I haven't decided yet. So one has these feathers, so I thought that would go well because we have feathers here. So I'm thinking of using maybe different sizes, but I kind of want them going like this. I think that would be a really cute option. The other option would be these mandala stencils. These are, again, from Action. You see there's 5 different designs in here. I have not opened this. I mean, a mandala would also be absolutely stunning here, and I don't really know what to do. Let me unpack these and then see if something sparks more joy than something else. I would add the mandala stencil so that we have the center where the center of the flower is. For example, like this. I wish it would go farther, but maybe we could add dots or something here. Not the worst option. And all of these are of course going to be pretty much the same size. This one, I think no. This one looks a bit bigger. This one is definitely bigger, but it's too bold. I would like the elements to be more delicate. So then there's this one, that's really nice. Oh, and this one actually looks quite big as well. Or this one. This is not as big, although I really like this one. Oh, decisions. And this was the first one we tried. Let's check the feathers again. Oh, I like the feathers. Yeah, it has to be the feathers. I don't trust myself to spray through this stencil, so I'm going to use a blending brush and Distress Ink Wild Honey. I think the Wild Honey color will go really well with the gold here. So let's place our stencil. So if I want the flower here, I am paying attention that it doesn't peek out of the journal pages too much because I don't want them getting too bent. So that will be my first feather right there. Oh, this is such a gorgeous color. I'm wondering, wouldn't it be nice to add a darker color, maybe a little bit? I'll try the walnut stain. Maybe do the tips. Okay. Oh, don't like this. If we do this here, then we could do another one right there. This time I'm going lighter at the top. We'll add the walnut stain on the bottom. Oh, that's so pretty. Wow, I'm loving this. And then we could turn it around. Maybe I should clean this first. Turning it around and doing another one down on the bottom. Maybe I'll add more right there. And this time, why not try another color? I have the rusty hinge here. Let's get another brush. So I'll start with the Wild Honey. Again, I'll go very light on the top. And then we'll try the rusty hinge. Maybe just a tip. Yes. I could add one of the bigger ones This one here, for example, maybe a little lighter, more like a background feather. I'll do that very lightly with speckled egg. Fingers crossed that that was a good idea. It's coming on very blotchy for some reason. I'm not sure why. It looks okay because it's feathers, and feathers are not even, so I think it looks good in this case, but that's just luck. So let's add another one here. Let's mix in some rusty hinge. Oh wow, that's beautiful. Who would have thought? I'll do another one here, starting again with a speckled egg. And adding just a little bit of the rusty hinge. Maybe just a hint of one here. And some rusty hinge. Then I'm going to ink up the triangle edges with walnut stain. I will also do that on this side. I still need to probably glue this down, although I'll just leave it for now. I'll deal with that side of the page another time. I'm inking it up now because once I add the flower here, it's going to be hard to get to this corner. And then we can just glue this down. Can I just say that I'm in love with this page? I love how the feathers turned out. I love how this flower turned out. Totally out of my comfort zone. Learned a bunch of new things. Very, very satisfying. And then I also want to find a spot for this flower. It's so interesting. When I was thinking about this in the night, I always envisioned this one with the tails of the seahorse. And I thought this would be the cool flower. But now this one, which is the one I didn't even think I was going to do, is the one that I really love. It's just amazing how these things go. And I also realized that the prompts where you have like the least idea at first, when you look at it and you're like, oh wow, what on earth am I going to do with this? Those sometimes turn out to be the best ones. Oh, how about here? That seems like a perfect fit. What is this? It's a pocket, yeah. And it will definitely need those white splatters. So let's add our glue. Does it need something underneath? You know what? I'm going to add some black thread underneath because I really think this needs a lot of contrast. Or do we need some stenciling underneath? Maybe too. I could use this mandala and I'll only use the inner part. And I'll use my wild honey again. Just want to make sure it is centered. We will only see the outside part because of course the flower will be covering the middle. The yellow was not a good idea. Okay, hopefully the white splatters will help a little bit. But before I add those there, I want to add some small black splatters just on this part here. And if I would have just let this air dry, this wouldn't have happened. It's not the worst, but I really just wanted the splatters. It's my own fault for being impatient. I still love this page. Okay, so let's go back and put white splatters on the other flower. Why did I do this in yellow? Can anybody tell me? I'd say it definitely helped, but it cannot compare to the other flower. But it's okay. 1 out of 2 is great, so nothing to complain about. Acetate and banner done. This one was definitely a surprise. I loved it. Have fun with this one and see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.